and welcome back to Club Footy. My name is Stephen, this is Phil alongside me, and we've got a whole host of questions that need answering today. You've seen the title of the video, has Cristiano Ronaldo finally eclipsed Lionel Messi? Before we do that, I've got a couple of announcements. A couple of very happy people are going to be made. I'm going to shout out firstly, Andy Aston, you've won the Mercurial Vapors. Andy, well done, congratulations, Christmas has come early. You too can be, I don't know who wore these boots. Ollie, who wore these boots?
All kinds of players, Golovin in particular.
Golovin. You could be Golovin. You could be the breakout star at the World Cup. Just like that. Andy, you've won. Let us know in the comments. Try in the comments, Andy, and we'll find you and we'll get the boots to you somehow. And also, the second competition winner is Freddie Tattersall. Freddie, you have won this beautiful Uruguay shirt. Suarez has been doing bits on the pitch of it, and now that's yours, Freddie. So once again, write in the comments and we'll find you and we'll give you that shirt. And also, what else is up for competition?
Well, we've got a very exciting shirt. My favourite shirt of the World Cup, many people's favourite shirt of the World Cup, what Stephen's wearing right now. That's right, the Nigeria home shirt. And these are so hard to find.
Honestly.
I mean,
I feel blessed to wear it.
Honestly, you need to get your hands on one of these. It is
we are giving away the most hyped shirt in years. Years. I'm not kidding. This is the kind of stuff that will make you cool. And nothing will make you cool if you're not already. But basically, this is the shirt that everyone wants.
Love it.
It's beautiful, it's bold, it's garish, and some people can't stand it, but most people absolutely love it because it's just special, it's different, and you can win it. All you've got to do is subscribe to FOOTY.COM, like this video, and give us the best reason in the comments. Probably just put your name, to be honest, but give us the best reason why you should win this shirt, and you've probably got more chance of winning it because we will read the comments and we will choose someone who's going to deserve it. So yeah, this is the shirt that's up for grabs, and take it off us. Make us really sad to do it because they're playing just about now as recording this video, and I'm sure it's going to be all over Twitter as you read this. But anyway, let's get on to the actual news. We've just watched Brazil. We've just watched Neymar leave everything on the pitch. Obviously, it was a VAR controversy, and then also he was crying at the end with relief when he finally scored 2-0. Good game in the end.
It was actually. You know, Brazil, they dug in. They had a lot of chances. Navas was frustrating them a lot in goal. Had a good game.
Yeah.
And fair play. You know, I think shout out to really as soon as Costa came on and Firmino, it changed the game for Brazil.
It really did. The big moment for me was the VAR incident. I'll be honest with you, a bit of transparency, we're probably not the VAR's biggest fans. We're kind of, but then again, we're probably old school, I would say, in that aspect. But there was a great moment where it was used absolutely perfectly. The referee had the humility to actually correct his own mistake. He gave a penalty. Neymar went down in several stages. It was embarrassing, wasn't it?
It was. And as you say, you know, despite some misgivings about VAR, it was the correct usage today.
It was brilliant.
It was great. It's good to see, and I think, you know, the reaction from fans has been really positive as well.
VAR, it requires humility from refs to admit that if they've got something, that they could also make a mistake. And the fact that he went over it and reviewed it, went, no, I was wrong, and gave the correct call. I mean, it made no difference in the end to the result, but it was just so refreshing to see that cheats like that don't prosper. And that was it. And Neymar, he should have been booked, if we're being totally honest. In the end, though, they deserved the result and they won. But let's get on to the reason we're all actually here for the title of this video. Has Cristiano Ronaldo finally, Phil, eclipsed Lionel Messi?
You know what? It's the eternal debate, isn't it? And I think, you know, you're often in one or the other camp. And for me, I think the very fact we're having this conversation says a lot, because Ronaldo, you know, going into this summer, and you know, he's had a good year for Madrid.
And a good year slightly underplaying it as well.
Yeah, and the thing is, you know, going into this tournament, one of the big things which we were hoping for was that both players would stake their claim on the World Cup, you know, for the Golden Boot, or certainly the best player. And if you look at it now, it's pretty clear in one direction. I hate to say it, because, you know, if there's one thing we actually agree on as a Liverpool fan and a City fan, so we don't like United, we don't really like Ronaldo. And actually, I'm looking at this and saying, well, certainly if you take this World Cup, it's very clear, and it does open the conversation.
A lot of people would say, you know, I'm saying has he eclipsed, and some people would say he's a better player anyway, and that would be a very valid argument. It's hard to, I mean, we're talking if one's a 10, one's a 9.9, you know, like we're talking margins here, and it's very much, you have to look at the Ballon d'Ors, they've won 5 each, you have to look at what they've achieved in the game, you know, they're just sensational players. I'm not teaching you anything new there, but there is an argument that at the moment, maybe This is where Ronaldo's strength of character actually comes into play in terms of, you can look at, I think it's fair to say Argentina's team is a bit of a shambles. Because Messi's an everyday kind of normal, relatively humble bloke, maybe he doesn't have that strength of personality to drag the team actually through it in the way Ronaldo, even though he's a strangely egotistical man, he's so much in his own world though, that others can probably just follow him. Like, and I wonder if he does have that strength of personality that maybe Messi lacks, and maybe that's probably why Ronaldo does actually excel in club competitions, in terms of actual cup competitions. Think about it, Champions League, he's famously got there. He did it for Portugal. I know he wasn't in the final, but he definitely, his strength of personality helped him claim the Euros.
It's a very good point.
And now,
that Portugal team in 2016 wasn't a good team, by anyone's estimation.
They're better now than they were then.
Absolutely, better now. So that is significant. And I think, when we're talking about Ronaldo and Messi, often people, they look to the stats, they look to what's on paper. And if you look at that, you can definitely make the argument for Ronaldo, at least on paper. Now, obviously, when you start looking at the bigger picture, it becomes more of a debate, because a lot of the things that Messi does aren't always going to show up, apart from the goals, of course. But certainly, if the argument starts to become, who's better to watch, that's, I think, a bit more of a discussion. But if you look at pure production, I think Ronaldo is ultimately going to be Pippin Messi, I think, in that regard.
Yeah, I can't deny that his end product is absolutely ridiculous. But then again, I guess you could turn down the goal records are very, very similar across the board. And then Messi's got all the assists and so on. I'm playing devil's advocate, obviously, because I'm Team Messi, I'll be honest. But I'm finding it harder and harder to choose one. And, it's and even though I will always prefer the way Messi plays, I cannot deny the ruthless, brutal efficiency, of Cristiano Ronaldo. It's not to say he's either stoic and boring either, is he? Let's be honest. He is flamboyant and explosive and can produce moments of magic. So I think it's a disservice to suggest that he's pure product and not magic when he's full of magic too.
And the other thing, another feather which Ronaldo has in his cap, is that he has done it in this country. Now, albeit only in a few years, but that's one thing we will never know about Messi. Of course, I'm sure he could have done it here, but that's one thing which Ronaldo fans will be saying. Well, actually, look, he's won a title, a Champions League as well for an English club, and that's a big thing. I'm
sure Ashley Williams wouldn't get close to him, let's be honest. I'm going to put it out there, but stranger things could happen. But you've got a point there. And there was an interesting point that we raised in the office ball. Ollie said something about, and it was interesting. We talked about how the idea of. You said to Ollie, like, if Messi wasn't there, no one would be having this discussion in terms of he'd be Ronaldo 100%. And Ollie said, but he wouldn't be as good, which is true to an extent.
That's very
and I think that's actually a very good point, because the idea that Ronaldo is the level he's at now is because he's had that competition. And I think we'd all admit that Ronaldo is 100% driven by being the best. And he hates, and he won't ever admit it. I don't think he hates him as a person, but he hates that Messi exists. I guarantee that. He's the Joker to his Batman.
Absolutely.
You need that, don't you?
Absolutely. It's that. I think that's one of the great things in sport. If you look at maybe someone like Gerrard, but then he had Lampard,
Nadal and Federer.
Exactly.
You need these people.
Tiger Woods in his prime and Phil Mickelson, jockeying with him, and I think we could look at all sorts of sports, and this is that kind of rivalry. This is one thing where actually, as you say, if it wasn't for Messi, really Ronaldo doesn't have competition. I don't think even.
No, I would agree with that.
There's obviously.
Maybe Neymar, maybe De Bruyne, but they're not the level those two are. No, they're still a bit below, I would say.
Not those levels of consistency, exactly. And there's a reason that we haven't had another Ballon d'Or winner since Kaka,
which is a long time.
Such a long time.
God, he feels like my childhood now.
He is, and it's for the very fact that those two are on a different level. And I think that's a really good point actually to bring up, because on reflection, without
Yin to his yang, exactly. You need sometimes, and I wonder if it bothers Messi as much. I wouldn't be surprised if it did. I think maybe sometimes what Messi has will benefit him in terms of he has that humility to be this unassuming star, and that also sometimes Ronaldo's arrogance will work in favour though. So maybe over the long haul, Ronaldo's kind of emotional outburst might be a little bit frustrating, which might not help Real Madrid in the league titles. But in a competition where it's all about here and now, and you've got everything to lose on the pitch, maybe that's just where Ronaldo's better.
I think you can. That's definitely a big thing to say, and you look at even Messi yesterday, it obviously means something to him, but the frustration of being in that team, like you say, it's a terrible Argentina team. The coach is still experimenting somehow. It looks completely lost, and he's completely helpless as well. And you know, Messi, well, he retired, didn't he, from international football, only to come back.
Emotionally, wasn't it?
And he dragged the team through. People forget that Argentina almost didn't qualify were it not for Messi. And yet now
he dragged them to the final previously. He did actually drag them to the final. A lot of people say he didn't play well at all. He did. He was excellent. That's a good question as well. Do you need to win a World Cup to be considered the best of all time?
Well, you know what? It's funny. We had this discussion as well.
Do you need this trophy?
Whenever you think of the greatest players, invariably you think of them with that trophy. If you think of Pele, if you think of Maradona. But of course there have been other players that didn't win it. You know, think of the likes of Eusebio, Puskás, who of course Ronaldo surpassed. Cruyff, exactly. And I think for me, and I guess the Cruyff comparison's a great one.
Wayne Root? No.
Oh, you nearly got me there. I think the Cruyff one's a good comparison because of the Barcelona collection. And you think of the teams that Cruyff played
of course,
And then you look to Messi.
Godfather of football.
Exactly. Yeah. And you look at, obviously, Messi and the Barcelona teams and the Pep teams that he played in. And I think that's a great thing which no one can take away from Messi. He might not get the World Cup. But, you know, I think to look back on, if you look at which player was part of a team that changed football more, you could probably argue that Messi actually... at least as a collective, and his imprint in football has been bigger, even though the individual qualities can be debated.
It could be an argument to suggest that despite everything Ronaldo's achieved, despite the fact that we're still debating this and it's not clear, given what Ronaldo's achieved, and we're still not sure he's better than Messi, maybe it just shows how good Messi is.
It's true, If Messi
you'd think surely, given what Ronaldo's done, this question would be over, but it shows who he's up against. It just shows how good he actually is. All I know is that GOAT photo shoot's coming back to haunt him a little bit right now. God, I bet he'd go back in time if he could and not be involved in that and handle that livestock. But
what do you think of the old goatee incident as well? Do you think that's a dig, or do you think?
I reckon. Apparently that's a bet because he said something about scoring or something like that, didn't he? And he'll keep it on. But anyway, guys, as ever, we've come to no answer. Who actually knows? And there's no correct answer in these kind of things. Let us know in the comments. I'm sure you're all going to do that already. I'm sure you've already done that as this video is actually playing. I'm Team Messi, but at the minute, Ronaldo, he's the daddy at the moment. He is. I think he is, and I think it's a fair comment as well, given what he's achieved. Obviously, Messi had a better season. I think probably in La Liga scored more goals. But I think Ronaldo, as it stands, will be a happier man. Either way, I'm just so happy to be in an era that these two players actually exist because they're just phenomenal.
That's it.
And I think we're all going to realise in about 2-3 years, like, oh man, it was better when they were there. Even with all the bickering and all the childishness and the fanboys everywhere, they're just two of the greatest of all time. And I think you won't see that. We won't see it in my lifetime again. Two players of that quality head to head. Maybe not. But anyway, guys, don't forget you can win this shirt as well. This beautiful Nigeria shirt, almost as beautiful as Cristiano Ronaldo's pedicured face. Pedicured face? That doesn't even make sense. Manicured face.
If anyone could, it'd be Ronaldo.
Let us know in the comments why you want to win this shirt. Like, subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow.